Donald Trump literally just told everybody that they better go out and buy stocks now because this country will be like a rocket ship that goes straight up. Check this out.
You better go out and buy stock now. Let me tell you, this country will be like a rocket ship that goes straight up. This is going to be numbers that nobody's ever seen before.
So the United States and the United Kingdom reached a trade deal agreement, and the media is hardly talking about it. It was stated that fair trade is vital to international trade. The Prime Minister stated this really is a fantastic and historic day. This is going to boost trade between and across our countries, and it's not only going to protect jobs, but create jobs. Does this sound like what the media has been telling you, that Trump is just out bullying all of these other countries? No. The key phrase is fair trade, and that's exactly what President Trump has been trying to do. It's exactly what's needed to happen, and it's exactly why we voted him in.
UK will reduce or eliminate numerous non-tariff barriers that unfairly discriminated against American products, but this is now turning out, I think, really to be a great deal for both countries because it'll be really great for the UK also. So the final details are being written up in the coming weeks. We'll have it all very conclusive, but the actual deal is a very conclusive one. We think just about everything's been approved. The deal includes plans that will bring the United Kingdom into the economic security alignment with the United States. That's the first of its kind.
Donald Trump just announced a UK tariff deal from the United Kingdom. We're actually going to be increasing our external revenue by $6 billion. The UK tariffs were 5.1%. We reduced that to 1.8%. We were charging them 3.4%. Now we're charging them 10%. We're increasing our revenue, increasing our exports, and we're also getting unprecedented access to all the UK market food. We're going to have better beef, better cereals, better fruit. We're just going to be amazing when it comes to eating good, eating healthy from the UK.
So the United Kingdom have embarrassed Donald Trump by announcing a trade deal 6 hours before he was supposed to announce it at 10 o'clock this morning Eastern Standard Time. And so there's Trump's big announcement about a big, huge trade deal that's already been announced by the Brits. Very interesting. We don't know the real details of this, but we know that they've said that Keir Starmer is going to make an announcement this morning about that. So a little bit embarrassing because the big surprise is over. It's the United Kingdom. And apparently Trump is fuming that he wasn't allowed to give the announcement first. This information, folks, comes from Downing Street Public Relations and CNN.
President Trump is announcing a new trade deal, the first since his tariffs took effect.
The White House has been saying for weeks that this first trade deal was coming soon, and now we finally know who that deal is going to be with. This morning, the president posted that it will be a very big and exciting day for the United States and the United Kingdom. The White House imposed a 10% tariff on nearly all British goods, just like it did with most other countries last month, and a 25% tariff on cars the UK exports to the U.S. So we'll see today if this deal that the president is touting will lead to a decrease in those rates. Just yesterday, the Federal Reserve left interest rates unchanged, with Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell citing the uncertainty from the president's tariffs as a major reason why. Powell also warned again that if large tariff increases are sustained, it will likely lead to a troubling trifecta: a rise in inflation, a rise in unemployment, and a slowdown in economic growth. Case in point, Ford just announced that it is hiking the price of 3 models made in Mexico by $2,000. Ford says Trump's tariffs are going to cost the company an extra $1.5 billion this year, and that some, but not all, of that cost is going to be passed along to customers. This morning, President Trump again lashing out at Jerome Powell for not lowering interest rates, calling him a fool who doesn't have a clue. But, Adriana, he has said he doesn't plan to try to fire Powell.
Dina, what do you think about the new trade deal between the U.S. and the U.K.?
There's no trade deal. It's a lot of talk. There's no details yet. They're going to make a trade deal. What do I think about it? It's a dog and pony show, typical Trump TV, right? He loves TV, loves drama. You watched it today. It's a lot of drama, a lot of people praising him. It's all that, but it's trying to calm the markets. That the markets want to hear deals are coming, and this apparently is the first deal. What do I think? I don't know, because it's a lot of talking, it's a lot of like dog and pony shows, a lot of window dressing, but we don't know the details yet. Nothing is approved, right? There's a bunch of things I'm actually reading about right now that, apparently all UK imports here will be a flat 10%. Nothing's going to drop below 10%. I don't know the backstory to that. Have we tariffed them more before or less? I don't know. I don't think we import a lot from the UK. We don't have a big deficit against them. So is this just a show? Who knows, right? To calm the markets, maybe, right? There's a lot of things with agriculture, with steel, and a lot of like process issues here. I'm seeing streamlined customs, established commitments on intellectual property, yada, yada, yada. That's all noise, I think. The actual tariff, what's going to change, we don't know yet. They haven't finalized. The only thing that I think has some relevancy here, is the fact that they're saying that they're going to tariff British cars being imported here, right? Up to 100,000 cars only at 10%, right? And why 100,000? Because I read something on Reuters that said that we only import about 100,000 cars from the UK. So pretty much all their cars are only going to have a 10% tariff. But that's kind of messed up, right? Because the cars coming from USMCA, US, Mexico, Canada, cars made in Canada, cars made in Mexico, right, are being tariffed right now at 25%. I don't think it's in place yet, but they're saying 25%, right? But a lot of those cars have American parts in it. Even though they're imported from there, they have a lot of American parts in them, American-made parts in them, and they're getting hit 25%. English cars have no American parts in it. Cars made in the UK have no American, and they're only 10%. So why? Why are you hurting us? That's the one narrative that I'm seeing that makes that is kind of interesting to me. What does it mean? When does this thing get finalized? As usual, it's a lot of talk. It's a lot of bluster on the TV and all that, but we don't know until they actually sign something. The big deal, if you ask me, in a nutshell, is it's telling the markets or the economy, Wall Street, Main Street, whatever you call it, that deals are happening. That you're going to close the issue on one country and who's the next country and who's the next country, like that. But I think for what it's worth, I don't know how big a deal this is, because we don't have a big deficit with the UK. So it's different when you could try to go to do a deal like this with another country where you have a humongous deficit. How are you going to address that? So we'll see.
Interesting. Historic moment. Trump just announced the first reciprocal trade agreement between the US and UK, which is significant because it reduces and eliminates several tariffs. You're going to want to see the details of this, what Trump said. So starting with US tariff reductions on UK goods. For cars, tariff cuts from 27.5% down to 10% for up to 100,000 vehicles per year. That's great news for Bentley, Rolls-Royce, and Jaguar. For steel and aluminum, 25% tariffs eliminated. Aerospace parts tariffs removed, and pharmaceuticals market access expanded. And for the UK tariff reductions on US goods, beef and agriculture tariffs lowered, ethanol 19% tariff eliminated, and general goods 10% tariff on most US imports unchanged. And Trump said, as part of this deal, America will raise $6 billion in external revenue from 10% tariffs, $5 billion in new export opportunities for great ranchers, farmers, and producers, and enhance the national security of both the US and the UK through the creation of aluminum and steel trading zone and a secure pharmaceutical supply chain. This deal shows that if you respect America and bring serious proposals to the table, America is open for business. Many more to come. Stay tuned. And to note that the 10% baseline tariff still applies to all other UK imports that are not mentioned, and that Trump also stated that other countries will not get this similar type of deal. So what are your thoughts on this deal? Drop a comment.
Big news on the UK-US trade agreement. I just got a list of everything that's going on, and there's one on there that makes me go, wait a minute. Why is that not changing? Today was supposed to be that massive announcement from Trump and the UK about a trade deal. And in it, there were some things announced. One, the US car tariffs on UK exports are being slashed down to 10%. That's now covering 100,000 cars. That's almost all the cars that UK sent over last year. Steel, when it comes to that tariff, it is gone. It's now at 0, so that's good. When it comes to aircraft, the US now gets top priority for any top-tier UK aerospace parts. When it comes to agriculture, there will be reciprocal market access on beef, which means that UK farmers will be giving a quota for about 1,300 metric tons of beef, which will be exported to the US, and the US will be granting the same thing to the UK. When it comes to ethanol that is coming from the United States, it can now enter the UK tariff-free. And there's going to be a creation of a secure supply chain for pharmaceutical products. Now for the weird part. Remember that 10% reciprocal tariff the UK installed back in March?
He will do this again with other nations, where he will say that they have reached a deal, that he has extracted promises with no real regard for whether or not those promises or what he in fact promised, whether or not they make a material difference in the lives of Americans, whether or not it is actually a win. He will simply say, it is a win because I say so.
Well, yeah, I agree with you on that. But we should also point out, too, his overall objective, his strategy is still very unclear. Does he want high tariff rates, or does he want to negotiate these things down to something closer to 0-0? He can't do both. I believe he wants to keep these rates high. With this UK deal, doesn't sound like the tariff rates changed that much, but he does not want to negotiate them down. He wants people coming in on their knees, as he stated. He wants them to come in, countries, trade associations, and companies, and begging for exemptions, which I think is a terrible form of crony capitalism, terrible way to do business. Hey, it's good for the lobbyists, who are trying to get the exemptions.
And it's good for his ego.
Yes.
Yeah, but this is not good economics.
Yeah.
It's not good for the country. I always said, if you have a rule, a tariff rule, that needs so many exceptions, you got a really bad rule, okay?
Later today, President Bone Spurs is going to announce a major trade deal with representatives of a big and highly respected country, the first of many. Here's the problem. He's going to say this is a done deal, and that's not the truth. So the deal is going to be with the UK, and it's not a deal. It's not a deal. Here's the truth about it. Luckily, representatives from the UK spoke out this morning, and it is a UK-US deal that will set out general terms of an agreement, will set the framework for further negotiations, and focus on specific sectors, not traditional FTA, said another UK official. So the UK is speaking up. It's not going to be a done deal like Trump is saying. He's going to say this is a done deal. He's going to say we won, blah, blah, blah. That's not the truth. This deal, these negotiations could take weeks, months, possibly up to a year before they are finalized. And Trump's going to tell you today, it's a done deal. Don't fall for the BS.
So this deal with the UK, it just feels like bull. I haven't done enough research on it. I just need better, more experienced creators to fill me in. Like, what the fuck is actually happening? Because it feels like Trump, being the biggest piece of shit bully that he is, induced this problem with tariffs, then came back and said, oh, we're going to just remove some of those tariffs. What a negotiator. What a negotiator. He's going to lessen some of those tariffs that he put on. What a negotiator. It's amazing. I don't know what the fuck we're getting out of it. Removing non-tariff barriers just for access to our marketing, but no promise of actual revenue or purchase. I mean, all I got from that press conference was simply that his entire cabinet's still sucking his dick, telling him how great he is, which no good leader ever needs to be told that. But I'm waiting for some actual input about what we got from this just bullshit bullying our ally. If anyone knows, let me know.
Hi guys, we finally have a trade deal on the table. The US and the UK announced a major trade deal today, and this is the first one to come through since Trump implemented tariffs on pretty much every country. The US will cut tariffs on UK car imports from 25% down to 10%, and the UK will allow greater market access for US agricultural goods, including beef and ethanol. Also, the UK committed to purchasing $10 billion worth of Boeing aircraft. Boeing is one of the largest exporters in the US, and commercial airplane sales are a huge part of its business. And then there was more good news. The US government announced it's rolling back certain AI chip export restrictions, which was great for the semiconductor sector that was really worried about supply chain issues. Overall, markets went up today.
Today was an amazing day for the stock market. If you are invested in the stock market right now, your portfolio is green. With the current trade war and all the tariffs we've been seeing, the UK has officially announced a trade deal with the United States. US President Donald Trump has said markets are about to go absolutely parabolic. He said, if you are not invested, you need to invest right now. Now, this is not financial advice from me, but financial advice from the U.S. president. No, but I'm not even joking. He said that the stock market is going to be like a rocket ship that only goes up. But the most important thing is that you do not FOMO when you invest. If you're following my TikTok, you would know that I am a big believer in the dollar cost average strategy. Dollar cost averaging ensures that you are buying more when there is fear and buying less when there is greed.
So long story short, I think if U.S. President Donald Trump is able to keep up this momentum and is able to announce more trade deals with all the other nations that he has big tariffs on, then I think the markets will perform very well.
Did we just witness a rare win in global trade? Because for the first time in years, through all the chaos, tariffs, and chest thumping, we actually got a trade deal that might make some real world sense. The US and the UK just signed a new agreement, and I'm telling you right now, it's not perfect, but it's a hell of a lot better than what we've seen lately. But here's the bigger question. What does it all actually mean for you and for me? Listen, I know we've seen a bunch of TikTokers reporting on this already, but you and I, you know what we got to do. We got to talk about it for real. Let's get one thing straight. This isn't some huge glossy free trade agreement, but it is the actual first trade deal signed under Trump's new tariff-heavy presidency, and that alone makes a big deal. We're talking real impact here. Steel, aluminum, cars, planes, and yes, even beef. Finally, a deal that's not just another photo op for billionaires. It might actually help the people who build things in this country. If you work in auto, aerospace, farming, you might be sleeping a little easier. The US dropped those 25% tariffs on British steel and aluminum. They cut tariffs on UK cars down from 27.5% to 10% on the first 100,000 vehicles. And US beef getting a bigger cut off the British market. And it doesn't stop there. Tariffs on British-made airplane parts, gone. Rolls-Royce engines, aerospace gear, it's all flowing smoother now. And the UK just signed a $10 billion commitment to buy Boeing jets. Not bad for an economy that's, been struggling. Now, let's talk pharmaceuticals. It's been secured. Supply chains strengthened. Both countries agreed to keep the pharma sector protected from new tariffs. That means less disruption on life-saving meds, something we should all be grateful for. Does this deal make you feel a little more hopeful, or are you guys still waiting for the other shoe to drop, like if there's a catch? I would love for you guys to drop your thoughts in the comment section. I want to hear what you think. Does this deal give you any hope at all, or is it just another headline in a never-ending media cycle? I hope that by breaking things down and talking about it, you guys understand a little better. Please share it, save it, tag someone who still believes that we could possibly do better even under this hellhole of an administration that's weak and full of wannabe alpha males.
Well, guys, it's no lie that in the past 3 months or so, it's been hectic, it's been chaotic, especially with these Trump tariffs. Now, considering that he's given tariffs to almost each and every country in the world, it's like he's toned down right now and he's going back to the table discussing terms and trying to reduce tariffs for these countries in order to get a fair deal, which is like a long way in order to rectify things. Like you just create a big problem and then trying to solve it, when realistically you shouldn't have done that. It's gonna get maybe a 0-to-0 ratio or maybe a 1-to-4, things like that, but it's not gonna make a big impact, considering that so many countries have so much against the US. What they put on the table compared to the US, especially those countries in the manufacturing industry like China, like for instance the UK, they have developed manufacturing industries, and it's gonna be interesting to see how all this is gonna turn out. Is it a deal yet? We're not sure. We've seen cases of where Trump comes in and say we've made a deal and it's not a deal, has not been materialized, or such an announcement is cancelled by the state that he says he's made a deal with. So it's like you have to take it with a grain of salt. Don't be overly hopeful. Just be hopeful but not overly hopeful, because it's the hope that actually kills you. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think about this whole deal. Do you think it's gonna materialize? Do you think it's gonna put US in a good position? Put your comments down there below. Share your thoughts and let me meet you in the next one. Peace out.